What can you say that would make Jesus stop dying? What words can come out of your mouth that would cause him to change his course? These men represent two destinies. You can get with this, or you can get with that. The decision is yours. It represents the heart of man. Jesus hung there on the cross. And it's interesting, as he hung there on Friday, first things he did was, as you saw, Father, forgive them. That's all of us. Touch somebody and said, I am one of them. When he says, Father, forgive them, he's talking about those that were there and those that will come, and every one of us at any point in time that would turn our back on the Lord, he's saying, forgive them. Every one of us that knew God and went another way, he's saying, forgive them. Everyone that heard the gospel preached and refused to obey, he's saying, forgive them. Everyone that was saved and backslid, he's saying, forgive. Y'all know what I'm saying. He said, God, forgive them, for they really don't know what they're doing. Then he turns around, and this thief, one guy, sees it one way. All he's thinking is about is himself and the life that he's living and what's going on with his life while Jesus is still dying. And he fusses at him and said, if you're the Christ, save yourself and save us too. But even at the last moment, there's this guy that takes the last chance to make the right decision. You don't know today whether or not this is your last chance to make the right decision. You don't know. You may be on the cross of life and not realize that you're there. And you don't know what the enemy may be trying to do to you right now. But you got a last chance to say, Lord, remember me. I know I did wrong. I know I'm not right. I know I haven't lived right. But God, remember me. I know I don't deserve what you're doing. I deserve the pain that I'm in. I deserve to be where I am right now. I don't even deserve your mercy. But God, remember me. Oh, Jesus stopped death, looked at him and says, today, right now. The important part about that is that the moment you make that decision, you can be with Jesus. You can be with him right where you are right now. Jesus goes on, as you saw, his mother was lying beside him, and he says, woman, behold thy son, son, behold thy mother. He took care of his mother. Then he began to scream, my God, why have you forsaken me? Do you not know that that was the most difficult part of what he went through? Was the fact that God had to turn his back on him. For God could not know sin. So the Bible says that he that knew no sin became sin for all of us. And the sins of all the world were laid upon his back. And by his stripes we were healed. He was wounded for our transgressions. He was bruised for our iniquity. And the pain of our peace was laid upon him. God turned. God's looking at his son. And he sees sin. He turns his back on his son so he can turn his face towards us. Now we can be receiving the blood. Jesus goes on and tells them, I'm thirsty. They give him something, mixture of hyssop and vinegar. Then finally comes to the conclusion of the whole matter and says, it is finished. Someone said, what is it? Everyone said, what is it? The atonement that needed to be made. Those of you that were with me a few weeks ago, I told you about that animal that God killed and showed Abraham and said, I will be the one to keep my covenant. What was finished the price was paid that we might be saved. And when the work of God was finished, when it was done, Jesus, probably with his last breath, lifted up his head and says, Father, into thy hands I commend my spirit. And he hung his head